Welcome back. It's 24 hours later from when I started the gummy bear experiment. We're here to find out the answer to the question, which liquid best dissolves gummy bears? Now, to test the dissolving means it disappeared into the liquid. So I will weigh what's left of the gummy bear, and the one that has the least amount of weight will be the one that dissolved the best. I will also measure the amount of liquid simply because if the gummy bear dissolved, that means whatever was in the gummy bear before should be part of the liquid now. So there should be a difference, possibly be a difference. My hypothesis is that there will be a little more liquid if there's a little less gummy bear. So let's get started with the red gummy bear in water. There's the W on there. And I'm going to start by measuring out. So we'll measure up, measure out, and try and get the gummy bear, all the liquids out of there. And the liquid is at 25. So there's actually less liquid. Uh-oh, I wonder what, look at the size of that gummy bear. Enormous in there. It actually looks like it didn't dissolve. It grew larger, so let's see what it weighs. And he comes in at 8 grams. He got, instead of dissolving, I got 25 milliliters of water and 8 grams on the gummy bear in water. Oh my goodness. So I wrote down on my data table so you can see how I'm doing that. Right across the top row there, the water became only 25 milliliters and the ending weight is 8 grams. So, oh my goodness. Now I've got to get rid of that big old gummy bear. Whoop. We'll scoop him back in there and get him out of here. Got my towel to clean off and make sure we're back to 0 on the scale. Yep, back to 0. Let's try the gummy bear in the vinegar with the V on top. And, oh my gosh, looks like even less. 24, maybe 25 milliliters of vinegar. Oh my gosh, this is not what I expected to have happen. He is 8 grams also. So 20, I'm going to say 25 milliliters. It really looked like 25. And so the difference between the water and vinegar seems to be no difference at all. The gummy bears increased. They increased, instead of decreasing in size, they increased in size and weight up to 8 grams, and the liquid has been absorbed. Instead of the gummy bear dissolving into the liquid is being soaked into the gummy bear. I had no idea that would happen. So let's scoop up the vinegar one, and that one, oh, it did. If you see that, a little piece just broke off. So it is, even though it didn't dissolve, it is not as sturdy as it was before because I had a piece of the gummy bear from the vinegar break right off there. And let's try the last one in oil. And this one, if I'm looking inside there, it doesn't look as swollen up. So maybe this one dissolved it a little bit. Let's find out how much liquid we got in oil. Oil's a little thicker than water, so it pours out more slowly. It's more viscous is another science word for thick liquids. And this one looks like it has almost, I'm going to get that on there before it goes away, almost all of the 30 milliliters. Looks like 29. So I'm guessing some of the oil even absorbed. I'm going to write down that result. 29 milliliters and 1 gram. I would have expected it to go up if the water went into it, or the oil went into it. 1 gram. So my data for my test with just the red gummy bears. The gummy bears are mostly all the same. They all started off, even though whether they're yellow or they're green or they're red. There's the result table. None of them seem to have dissolved. They all either stayed the same in the oil, or they increased in weight in the other two. Instead of dissolving, which would have been disappearing, I would have thought they would disappear. They disappeared in my, kind of goes away when it's in my mouth. Let's get, oh yeah, he's still really hard. And the other ones were very, very, very squishy and rubbery and bouncy. when they were coming out of the water and the vinegar. So the oil did not soak in. That's something new that I wasn't expecting there. Just change out to a different clean one of the graduated cylinders. This was water, but it looks like it has something mixed in with the water. It's a little bit cloudy. Trying to get all the liquid out. And then the gum, you can see the gummy's kind of bouncy in there and very, very large. I've got a 0 on my scale. And, ooh, this one's a 10. The yellow came in at 10. And that was in the, make sure, smell it, that's water, yep. The water came in 10 grams. And the amount of liquid on this one is, ooh, 22 milliliters of liquid. So more of the liquid soaked into the yellow one than it did into the red one. Wow, these are a surprising result. Oh, and it is, if you see that when I scooched it back in there, it is very much getting ready to dissolve. It didn't dissolve in the water, it absorbed water, but it's falling. You can't see that because of the green there. It is falling apart. There's a little bitty piece here on my countertop. So, and I'm just going to keep going here and see what happens. This one is vinegar. Looks like another, whoop, let's get rid of that oil, or that water, sorry. Liquid, and measure out how much liquid is in, how much vinegar is in there. Come on, got to get them around, get the dribble drabbles around the bear. So you can see that science is a real process of, it takes time to do a real science experiment. Oh my gosh, this one is also down to about 22 milliliters. So something different about these yellow gummy bears. I've got 22 milliliters in vinegar, making sure I'm getting that written in the right spot, keeping accurate records. And then, oh, I forgot to zero out. I didn't dry that off. Come on, dry off. All right, and my waited too long, my scale went off. All right, so let's, oh, there he goes. And another one that's 10 grams. That is amazing. That the yellow ones, for some reason, are, oh, and that one's real, again, you can see, oh, it chopped his head right off. His body fell in and his head stayed up on top. So something about the yellow ones makes them even more absorbent, I guess. They're soaking up more of the liquid, the water and vinegar, than the red ones did, but they're not really dissolving. They're not disappearing. Maybe if I left them longer. So science always leads to more questions. So maybe if I left them longer than 24 hours, they would actually disappear or dissolve into the water. But let's check the oil one quickly for yellow. And oil is thick, 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 thick. It takes a while to dump out of there. And as you can see, that one is small yet. I'm zeroed out here on my scale. Come on. Come on, Gummy. There we go. And Gummy comes in. I got a little oil on that one, so he came in at 3 grams. And the liquid came in at, looks like 29 maybe? 28 or 29. I'm going to write down 29. So it must be mostly gummy, because if there's 29 there, there would only be maybe 1 gram, because a milliliter of oil might be more than 1 gram. I'm not sure. But so 3 grams of weight and 29 milliliters there. So very similar to the red results, slightly different, but pretty close in that it did not change. It did not grow unexpectedly on those other ones. They grew instead of shrank, grew in weight anyway. I was expecting them to be much lower in weight. And we've got one more color to go here. Green. Let's start with the green water. That's what we've been doing in sequence. So we can see the green one is swollen up there. If I can get the cover off, we'll measure out the liquid. All the dribble drabbles there. We're at 0 on the scale. He's stuck. Oh, that one. Oh, it is maybe falling apart. I've got 2 pieces on there. And 8 grams. 8 grams. Where am I writing that? So that is, when I'm looking at my chart here, that is the same weight that the red ones were. So this is leading me to have another sign. Whoa, I've got lots of green bits falling off there all over the place. He fell into about 3 or 4 different parts. Very much full of water, but weakened. It's not dissolved, but it's close to dissolving. Oh, and my liquid. I almost forgot my liquid. I am at 25 milliliters of liquid. So that one absorbed some liquid again. Surprisingly, again, very much not what I expected to have happen. Science is interesting. Sometimes you get things you weren't expecting. So this is the vinegar. Smells like vinegar. And making sure that's not oil. And I can only do that little sniffing like that because I know it's vinegar and I put it in there. It's either vinegar or oil, and oil doesn't smell, but vinegar does. All right, there's my liquid, and let's check. I got a zeroed out scale. So I'm always starting with 0 on the gram scale. It's still, oh no, I don't want to lose a piece of them. Get on this scale, little guy. And he came in at 7. So we've got 7. That one is a little lighter, but maybe I dropped some. I don't see any pieces over there. Let's see. And this one came in again at 25 milliliters of liquid. So I'm not sure where the missing gram went there. It's 1 less on weight. Oh, he broke into a couple of pieces there, I guess, when I scooched him. Oh, maybe there was something stuck to the side. It's still 7. Still 7. All right, we'll just leave it there. I'm not sure if I got all of it on there or not. Definitely falling apart, but not disintegrating into the liquid part. It still stayed intact, filled up with some of the liquid. And let's get the oil. Come on, oil. Very similar. I almost got them in there. In that the gummy is still tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Did not swell up, not big and rubbery like the other ones, and coming in at 1 gram. Wow. So the oil didn't do anything to dissolve, but it also did not get absorbed into the gummy. And this one looks like it's almost still at 30. So 29, call it 29 again, just like I think the other ones. Yeah, the other ones that were in oil were at 29 also. So we'll dump that out. And that is our experiment. So we have tested them all. I've run the data, written down the data to answer the question, which liquid best dissolves gummy bears? And I will share more with you about this in just a moment. But my surprised answer is none of them dissolved the gummy bear. None of them made the gummy bear turn into liquid or disappear in the liquid like I thought it was going to. Kind of like when we put sugar in water and we stir it up, the sugar kind of disappears. That's what I thought was going to happen with the gummy bears, but instead they actually got bigger. The water soaked in, so interesting results on this experiment.